The potter's hands, a journey through the fire. The weight of the shards. Elias sat in the dim corner of his small apartment, the blue light of a street lamp filtering through the blinds like cold water. At 34, he felt ancient, not in years, but in spirit. He felt like a vessel that had been dropped onto a stone floor one too many times. To the outside world, Elias was fine. He went to work, he nodded to neighbors, he bought groceries. But inside, his life was a map of hairline fractures. There was the crack of a failed business that had swallowed his savings, the jagged break of a relationship that had promised forever but ended in a silent hallway, and the deep, dark fissure of a childhood trauma he had never quite learned how to glue back together. He scrolled through his phone, seeing the perfect lives of others. In those digital squares, people were whole. They were polished marble statues gleaming in the sun. They had the right smiles, the right families, the right successes. Compared to them, Elias felt like a pile of discarded, grey clay, unformed, useless, and ugly. The weight of his mistakes sat in his chest like lead. He could still hear the echoes of the words he shouldn't have said and feel the sting of the opportunities he had let slip through his fingers. "I am a mistake," he whispered to the empty room. "I am beyond repair." The midnight cry. That night the silence became unbearable. It wasn't just the absence of sound, it was the presence of a heavy, suffocating emptiness. Elias sank to his knees by the side of his bed. He hadn't prayed in years. He wasn't even sure if he was talking to anyone or just shouting into the void. "God," he gasped, his voice cracking, "if you are there, if you really see me, why did you let me break like this? If you're a good father, why did you let the world crush me? Why did you let me fail so many times? Why did you leave me in pieces?" He waited for a thunderclap. He waited for a sign. He waited for the ceiling to collapse. Instead, a stillness settled over the room, a peace so thick it felt like a blanket. And then, in the sanctuary of his own heart, he heard a thought that wasn't his own. It wasn't a loud voice, but a gentle, steady resonance. "My child," the voice seemed to say, "I did not let you break to leave you ruined. You think the breaking is the end. To me, the breaking is the beginning." Elias wept. "How can this be a beginning? I have nothing left." "I allowed the breaking," the voice continued, "so I could remove the stones that were hidden deep inside your soul. When the clay is hard and solid, the potter cannot see the pebbles buried within. Only when the clay is broken and softened can I reach in and pull out the pride, the bitterness, and the lies you've believed about yourself. I am not punishing you, I am purifying you." The master's workshop. Elias stayed on the floor for a long time, letting those words wash over him. For the first time, he began to see his life not as a series of accidents, but as a process in a workshop. He imagined a potter's wheel. He realized that the potter never throws away the clay just because it is marred or lumpy. A master craftsman doesn't look at a lump of earth and see dirt. He sees a vase. He sees a chalice. He sees a masterpiece. When the clay is on the wheel, the pressure feels like it might destroy it. The potter's hands are firm. The wheel spins fast, sometimes dizzyingly fast. The water of grace is poured on, making the clay pliable, but it also makes it feel slippery and unstable. Elias realized that his trials were actually the potter's hands. The financial loss had removed his stone of self-reliance. The loneliness had removed his stone of seeking validation from people. The failures had softened his heart, making him more compassionate toward others who were also suffering. The art of kintsugi. He remembered a story he had once read about kintsugi, the Japanese art of repairing broken pottery with gold. In this tradition, the breakage is not hidden. Instead, the cracks are filled with precious metal, making the repaired piece even more valuable and beautiful than the original. That is what faith is, Elias realized. Faith is not a shield that prevents us from ever breaking. We live in a fallen world, we are made of earth, we will hit the floor. Faith is the quiet, unwavering knowledge that even when you are in 1,000 jagged pieces, you are still sitting on the potter's workbench. You are not in the trash bin of history, you are in the hands of the Creator. He understood that God is a specialist in broken things. He used a stutterer to lead an exodus. He used a shepherd boy to kill a giant. He used a group of flawed, fearful fishermen to change the world, and he was using Elias' brokenness to build something that a perfect version of himself could never have achieved. Walking with the Potter. The next morning, Elias didn't wake up with $1 million or a perfect life. The cracks were still there, but the perspective had shifted. When he looked in the mirror, he didn't see a shattered pile of clay. He saw a work in progress. He began to walk through his days with a new kind of courage, the courage of the mended. He started to share his story with others. He found that when he was honest about his cracks, other people felt safe to talk about theirs. His brokenness became a bridge. He was no longer trying to be a polished marble statue. He was a vessel that held light. And he realized the most profound truth of all. A vessel with cracks lets the light shine through in ways a solid one never can. The light of God's strength is best seen through the gaps in our own. An invitation to you. If you are reading this and you feel like Elias, if you feel like the weight of the world has finally snapped you in two, do not lose heart. The world tells you that broken means worthless. The Potter says broken means ready. Trust the process. The wheel may be spinning fast and the pressure may be intense, but the Potter's eyes never leave you. He knows exactly how much pressure you can stand. Trust the water. Let the grace of God soften your heart. Stop trying to stay hard and strong on your own. Pliability is your greatest strength. Trust the hands. You are held. In your darkest night, in your deepest failure, you have never left the palm of his hand.